There's a gentleman in studio today who started real estate the same time I did, but he's outsold me 4 times over. Up next. Right? Okay, ready?
Get ready for the real estate show that takes you across the barriers and into the danger zone. That Bitchin' Real Estate Podcast with your host, Tenacious T.
Yeah.
This is Kimberly Toko, Tenacious T. Thank you for joining me again. Our special guest today is
Alan Kushmakov with Best Homes Real Estate.
Best Homes Real Estate. That's something new, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We launched last month, January 14th to be the exact date. And super excited about it.
And this is your brokerage, correct?
Yeah, this is my brokerage. Yeah.
So let's see. Let's take this again.
Yeah.
2013, you get your license.
Yeah, 2013, I get my license. In I think January 2013, I got my license. I got it pretty quickly. I was very tenacious about it.
Yes.
If you will.
Yes.
Was thinking right off the bat that my phone's gonna ring.
And did it?
I'm going to be showing homes.
Right. Everyone's going to call me because I'm amazing.
My sphere, they're all going to bombard me with
right.
with deals. And,
I'm going to have to get people right away. I'm going to be so busy.
You believe this,
yeah.
Right. And it was nothing further but, from the truth. It was completely different. In fact, I remember my first commission check came in not until like month number 5 or number 6.
Ooh! I got you beat there. I made Rookie of the Year the first year.
Oh my God, it was painful. Right?
Yeah.
The experience. I remember in month number 2, and there was a lot of stuff happening. There was a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, not generating any money.
Right.
My daycare bill alone was $2,100. So.
So you gave up everything, got your real estate license.
Gave up everything.
Oh boy.
Got my real estate license and said, you know what, I'm gonna make a business out of it.
Right.
Right. Make a business out of it.
Did you have savings?
I did have some savings, and my
God.
wife, she was working, right, so that helped us out
Yes.
quite a bit. But you have kids, so I have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. And they were all at that time were under age of 5.
Right.
So the daycare bill was pretty expensive. It's like I was paying like $2,100 a month.
You're
right?
paying more than what you're making.
I know. And then my mortgage was like another $2,100. And then 2 car payments were like $1,000. So right there, along without food, baby stuff, whatever it is,
Yeah.
we're talking about $5,000 right
Yeah.
there, So after about 2 months, I started panicking. So... And when you expect that your phone is going to ring, when you expect you're going to start getting some business from your sphere, from your family, and everything like that, man, I tell you, it was a cold shower type of awakening, and it was just
So as a man,
Yeah.
you're 5 months into this.
Yeah.
You're down to pretty much nothing as far as reserves, and you're
Yeah.
panicking.
Yeah.
How do you keep it together, and what did you do?
So, oh boy, so that year was a very interesting year, for lack of better words. So that part was difficult, obviously, the finances, right? And then on top of it, in the beginning of the year, we found out that my dad, was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. And at that time, my mom and him, they lived in New York on the East Coast, so it's 2,500 miles away. So it really affected me emotionally. I was stressing out, obviously, not able to generate any type of a business. And then finding out that my dad is going through all of that. And he had to go through chemotherapy, surgery, and chemo. It really kind of put a huge burden on me, mentally, emotionally. I was stressing a lot. And then because of that, maybe, and I don't know, maybe some other reasons, maybe bad habits of eating too much food or drinking, whatever it is, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I am. My mother had it. Stress, not eating well, smoking, drinking. So autoimmune disease. It affects your large colon, right? So you have that. You have the fact that you're a man in a family. You're supposed to bring bacon, if you will, right? You're supposed to, and then with that situation,
it was a very painful experience. That 2013 was a very
Yeah.
painful experience for me. But going back to your question, I guess, I started putting things into perspective, right? I started thinking about the fact that whatever happens to you, there's a cliche, there's a saying, whatever happens to you for a reason, right?
Right.
But I think a lot of times, what happens to you, it doesn't happen. You don't feel like, for me, it was about realizing that whatever's happening is not as bad as it seems, right? There
Right.
are other
There could always be worse.
people out there that are suffering more, that are having more hardships, they're having
Right.
issues, right? And that was the one thing. The second thing is the fact that you almost kind of have to kind of believe in the process that you're going to get better. You got to have faith, right? And for me, it was having that faith, having that belief, having the understanding that it's not the end of the world.
Right.
The fact that I've been in similar situations before financially, in 2008, 2009, 2010, right?
Yep.
And every day what I did is I got up and I put together a small list of things that I want to accomplish. And it wasn't a huge list. It wasn't anything big. And every day I got up, went to the office, and tried to make those things happen. It may sound very simple, but there's just no other way around it, right?
Right.
For me, the biggest thing was the fact that I had family to support. I had 3 little kids.
You had no choice.
I had no choice,
You had
right?
no
There's
choice.
just no other way around it. And for me to cry about it, for me to complain about it, for me to blame everyone else for what is happening to me, it was just a total waste of time.
So how do you handle what I'm going to call, and it's something that I struggle with every day. I'm really struggling with it now because I'm still not where I want to be in my career, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to be much further. How do you address failure? Because for me, it's a constant thought. Like you have to push through. You have to make it past what feels like failure. But what do you do with that feeling?
We kind of similar when it comes to that because I'm never satisfied. I'm very hard on myself. I constantly question myself. I constantly doubt. Right.
Right.
Like even the things that some people look at and say, "Wow, my gosh, this guy have accomplished so much in the last 6 or 7 years." Right. For me, it's like no. I mean, there's so many mistakes. There's so
Right.
many failures. There's so many things that I left on the table. Even the first year, right. That year, the last part of that year, I sold 16 homes.
Yeah,
Right?
that's good. That's really good.
I know, but I felt like I was a failure because
Right.
I felt like I left a lot of business on the table that year, right? And I deal with this constantly, right? And I think it really, for me, what helped me a lot is really understand that, you know what? It's not the end of the world if there is a failure. It's not the end of the world if you have not accomplished something that you set to accomplish, right?
Right.
I think we have all this preconceived notions, if you will, that we can accomplish a lot in 1 year, and not a in reality, it takes time to accomplish things,
Right.
And failure for me is something that I look at. Well, first and foremost, you gotta have a gratitude of things that are going on. Like for
Right.
me, every day in the morning, I write down the things that I'm grateful for,
Yeah.
and they're very simple things, Kimberly. Very simple, like ability to wake up and like see the sky,
Yeah. That's
see
true.
the sun,
That's true.
see my kids, kiss my wife goodbye, have an opportunity to go to the office, have an opportunity to make an impact in my agent's business growth. I mean, those little small things like that.
Yeah.
But if you like every day being present about it and write them down and look at them, that means a lot. That's not a failure, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain things may happen during the day and during the week and during the month, but I call them learning experiences. They're learning opportunities.
So you're making a list for yourself that when you are in those moments of feeling defeat,
Yeah.
you're going back to your list and seeing what you have accomplished. And
every day.
Every day.
Interesting.
Interesting. I love
Every
that.
day. Like I plan out a list for the entire week. On Sunday evening, I plan out the list for the entire week, what I want to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
And again,
You are a list guy, because I did come interview with you once, and you had lists then.
but it doesn't mean that I'm going to accomplish like all of those
Right.
things. And here's another thing, right? I used to be so down on myself when I would have a list of things to do,
Yeah.
and then by the end of the week, I only accomplish maybe like about 40% of it or 30% of
Right.
it, and I would feel so down on myself.
Yeah.
And now I just don't look at it that way, right? I don't. I put like 2, 3, maybe 4 priorities on that list for the entire week, and I just focus on those. And everything else, if I get them done, great. If not, no big deal. I move on.
I love that. I love
No big
that.
deal. I just
So you just
simplify
finally
things.
make the shift to just simplify.
Simplify, right? I mean, I think we get overwhelmed as humans with all these to-do lists.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we have, I mean, you have huge goals, you have huge aspirations. I have huge goals, I have huge aspirations, right? And we have these to-do lists, but we just get overwhelmed. It's the same thing with the business plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have so many things that you want to accomplish in 1 year, but in the reality, I mean, you probably need about 2 years or 3 years to accomplish those things, right? With our schedules, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
we all get sidetracked.
Yeah.
We all get sidetracked. We get into this funk, all the time.
Yeah.
I do.
And it's a human nature almost, and it's something that I battle with all of the time. So you've got this career that you struggled in 2013, and then suddenly something clicked for you, and you started really formulating systems
Yeah.
and making it work for you, and you kind of exploded.
Well, I don't know about the exploding part. I
That's what it
really,
looks like to me.
I really was focused on self-development, on education, on surrounding myself with mentors and people that have done it already, and they're on a different level. And
How important is that?
I think it's super important. I think it's critical, honestly. Instead of trying to do things on your own
Yeah.
and make mistakes left and right,
Yeah.
try to learn those mistakes from other people that have done it, right?
Yes.
And try to model those people. I'm not saying copy them, because we are our own people. Like you're your own. I'm like, but just kind of model.
I totally get
Yeah.
it. I take pieces of those Callaways. I take pieces of
That's
Russell
it.
Shaw. I take pieces of, I do like the red in the Alan Kay card, which is fabulous. But yes, exactly. We take little pieces that we like and we form our own business. But like you're saying, we make sure that we're also following and watching the ones that have done it so we can learn from what they did wrong.
Yeah. I'm super inquisitive, right? I always ask questions. I mean, I remember my first year, right? One of the first listings that I sold right off 83rd Avenue in Camelback was a $100,000 listing.
Nice.
And the guy, the buyer's agent, pulled up in like a fancy car, right? He was driving like Mercedes-Benz and everything like that. And it was an elderly gentleman. And he pulled up and, we started talking. And I was like, hey, how do you get your business? And he's like, I do a lot of open houses. I was like, oh, interesting. How many open houses do you do? He's like, well, I average about 4 to 5 open houses a week. I was like, really?
Yeah,
Shit.
that's a lot.
That's a lot of open houses.
That's what
But
Jason Mitchell did.
But he's like, yeah, but I sold like 45 homes and most of them from open houses. So I'm like, really? So the next day, what am I doing?
Open houses.
Open houses, right?
Yes.
I'm doing open houses. So, and I didn't have any listings, right? This one was already under contract. But I reached out to an agent that was across the street from my house. And at that time, I was living up in Anthem, Anthem Country Club. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like
Yes.
Fort Knox. It's got gate and everything
it's
like that.
6 hours away. No.
So was on my listing, right? It was a vacant home. It's been on the market for like 90 days. And I reached out to the agent and I was like, hey, I'm a new agent. I really want to hold an open house. I see your listing. Can I do it? He's like, yeah, go knock yourself out. No big deal. I was like, well, I have a little problem. I don't have any open house signs.
Oh, boy. Yes.
I was like, can I borrow some
Yeah.
from you?
I've done that.
And
I've
the
done
guy's
that.
not even from my brokerage or anything
Right.
like that. So I said, yeah, sure, not a problem. As long as you return them back to the office. I was like, right, that's cool. So I borrowed the signs. I held an open house. And that day, a couple walked in, Doug and Sarah. And that couple, we struck a conversation. I was able to make a connection with them. And guess I was able to find out that they're looking to downsize. They have a 2-story house that they want to sell in Arrowhead Ranch. They're looking to a 1-story. And that one couple resulted in like 9 other commission checks.
Yeah.
One open house was not even my listing, was not even like my open house
Yeah.
sign. 9 transactions totaling to like $107,000
Yeah.
in gross
Yeah.
commission income, right? So I believe in open houses, but it would not happen if I would not ask that gentleman, hey,
Right.
how do you get your business?
Right. But there's something that obviously you have. I've watched some of the testimonials, I've seen the reviews. There is something that you have that I think a lot of agents do not have, and it's what's made you very successful, is you're a solutionist. You find the solution, you listen to the problem,
Right.
and you have a solution for them. You're meeting the two in the middle, and you're giving them the best customer service there is.
Yeah, I mean we're in a human business. We're in customer service business.
Mm-hmm.
So customer service is super important,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's number one,
Yes.
right? Again, I don't want to sound cheesy, but we exceed expectations of our clients, right?
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
We set them, we manage those expectations, but ultimately we want to exceed those expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right? The same goes with our agents right now. It's the same type of a mindset that we have. We exist and consistently deliver value to our agents and make an impact in their business growth. Like that's our mission statement right now.
Mm-hmm. Say that one more time so we can hear it again.
So we exist. Our purpose is to constantly deliver value to our agents and make an impact in their business growth.
Love that.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Like from top down, from me being a DB, our admin staff, we work for our agents. We support our agents. We empower agents, right? We want to make sure that our agents are like, they feel like they belong.
Right.
They're part of the happy environment, happy culture, part of the right ecosystem, right?
So
That's the goal.
the culture you have grown with your clients,
Yeah.
the culture that you figured out works for you and your business that has made you successful, you're
Yeah.
now passing that on to build your agency, your brokerage.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all about positive environment. It's all about positive culture, right? And it took us a while. It took me a while. Like I've been into team building thing for the last 3.5, close to 4 years, right? And I remember my first year, which was 2016. I hired 5 agents, and by the end of that year, I only was left with 1.
Oh, wow. Yes, I felt that one. I've been there. I had 5 agents and got down to 1.
That year, those 5 agents, like they sold like 10 homes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
which
then
is, yeah,
2017.
it's rough. It's rough.
I can write a freaking book on that. I tell you.
And he will. Alan Kay, the
yeah,
book.
Yeah, the book. How not to screw it up when it comes to a
Right.
team, right? And then the second year was pretty much the same. I hired more agents, and then at the end of the year, I think we had only 3 agents, right?
Right.
And I made pretty much every mistake in the book when it comes to team building, right? And I think it started clicking at the end of 2018, right? And I made some right hires internally. I have an amazing director of operations right now, Melissa. I mean, she's the best. Our TC, Sarah, she's the best. I mean, just agents in general. We got an awesome nucleus, like a core of agents that care about each other.
Right.
It's a kind of like a cheesy word. Like no, but they're serious. They care about each other. They like each other.
Yeah.
They help each other out.
It's important.
And they produce.
Yeah.
Right. And we would just want to kind of like build on top of that.
I think you and I, again, and maybe it's the year we got licensed, or maybe it's because of what we've been through, but
Yeah.
there is a lack of culture and peer involvement and wanting to help freely, and what I wanted to build was, yes, let's just help each other. It's not competition here, man. There's plenty of work for everybody. Plenty of work for everybody.
I agree with you. I think the reason why your brokerage is so successful and they're growing by leaps and bounds is because of culture.
Yes.
Is because of collaboration.
Yes.
Collaboration is because of the community. Even though it's virtual, if you will,
Yes.
right? But still, you have that human aspect
Right.
that you cannot replace.
Right.
The reason some of the other brokers have been so successful, is because of that as well.
culture,
right?
yeah.
And that's what we focus on. That's what we build. Right. And again, our culture is all about empowerment. It's all about education.
Yeah.
It's all about recognition. That's very important, right?
Yeah.
Support and also accountability. We all
Yes.
need accountability to some extent,
Yes.
right? I
Because,
think that's important.
and it's no offense, there are brokerages out there that, okay, great, and make sure you show up for this meeting, and it kind of ends up, that's it, right?
Yeah.
And I know from what I know about you and being in the business, you've developed something that you're actually holding their hands through the process and making sure they get taught.
Yeah,
correctly.
But again, that's something that I evolved from. Like in the beginning stages of it, it was more about like, hey, you know what? This is what I want you to achieve. These are my goals.
Yes.
This is my to-do list. This is what you have to do in order to become successful, right? Like me, right? And then after a certain period of time, I come to realize that, you know what, not everybody has the same goals. Not everybody's got the same aspirations.
No, they don't.
Not everybody's got the same drive, right?
Right.
So and I was like, what the F's going on? How come they're just not getting it? Everybody's got their own way of doing things, right?
They have
and
their own
everybody's got their own talents. And it clicked for me, like, again, a year and a half ago or so, where I was like, you know what? Man, I can help somebody who's doing 5 deals and can help them to go to maybe 10 deals. And they'll be perfectly fine with it, and I'll be okay with it as well.
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody wants to crush it. Not everybody wants to build an empire. Not everybody wants to do this or that. In fact, most of the agents are completely opposite of that.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. My job is all about providing necessary tools for you to be successful. And if success means 5 transactions a year, then be it. 20 transactions, then you know what? I'll give you my support.
So, again, 2013, you get your license. 2018, you're kind of figuring out, it sounds more like what to let go of yourself, because there was a lot that you were kind of holding on to, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that you were trying to implement that you decided, hey, this isn't working right now.
Yeah.
So when the synergy started to happen in 2018, when did you decide you wanted your own brokerage?
Well, I'm one of those people like you, like we're constantly thinking about the future and constantly thinking about, you know, what we can do with our lives and our businesses, right? And for me, it was, I think it was a natural transition, right? In the last few years, building a team, I had an opportunity to meet with a lot of agents. I think we had a conversation as well.
It was a rental, and that first year I will never forget. It was a rental, and I remember meeting you, and you flicked out that cool card. You still have the same card. You flicked out the card. And, give me a call if you want to learn a little something. But I swear you came across like you'd been doing it for 20 years.
No, it was
like,
my
whoa.
first year. It was, but my thing is like, you know, so meeting all these agents like you is like, we have this great synergy and we have this great rapport and we have similar vision and aspirations and goals. But then it's like, well, Alan, I'm selling 20 homes or I'm selling 25 homes, 30 homes, and I'm not comfortable with the team splits. Or I don't want to be part of the team.
Right.
Right.
I'm good. I'm going solo.
I'm doing my own thing. And I have a lot of respect for those people.
Yes.
Listen, do you, right? That's fine, right? So for me, I didn't have another avenue to offer to them, right? I was with the brokerage, awesome brokerage, right? I was with them for 4 years, but they were planning to join because of me, because of my team, not because of that brokerage.
Right.
So most of the time what would happen is we would have a great conversation, but we'll kind of have to part ways because it would not go anywhere, right?
Right.
So that was number one, the reason. Number two, I think, is the fact that as I grew more as a leader, you know, I enjoy making more impact in agents' lives, right? I enjoy training and mentoring and coaching, right?
Yes.
And I was like, how do I do it on a bigger scale? How do I do it on a bigger level where I can have not 15 or 20 agents, but maybe 200, 300, 400 agents, right?
Yeah.
And then the third thing, I think, is the fact that I wanted to eventually build a sellable asset, right? And looking at the team models out there, like some of the teams are doing amazing things, right? But the question is always going to be like, are they going to be able to sell when the time comes, right? And for me, that answer was no.
Right.
So that's why I decided to do my own thing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So we have another special guest who joined us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Barbara Harwell.
And you're with who?
I'm with EXP Realty.
EXP Realty. And how long have you been in the business?
40 years.
40 years.
God bless you, Barbara.
Yes, yes. And
It's a
she's still
passion.
walking straight.
It's a passion.
Yeah. She's not drunk in the corner. I often say, if you're not crying, screaming, yelling, throwing something, babbling in the corner, or high-fiving, you're not doing real estate correctly.
That's absolutely true, Kimberly.
That's right.
So I want to get into a little fun part of the segment.